Map 2 here is on the mighty Whirlwind, and just look at it, it's huge. Such a big map this is, it's a bit obscene. I mean, just look how many mineral patches there are on this map. If you cut the map in half, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 locations, so you can be up on 8 bases against your opponent on this map. It is an absolute beast of a map. So it's the sort of map where I don't mind, as a Terran even, opening CC first. I'm okay with that. You know, it's a long push distance. Icred's going to be lucky here and is going to scout the location of his opponent just straight off the bat, which is pretty lucky. So he's going to come in and get to see that. Now, if you know this map and you're used to playing on a map this size, you would know by how quickly that has turned up that it has to have come from either here or here. There's no way that's come from the cross spawn location. Also, if somebody is scouting, it would be weird to scout cross spawn first, because then which way do you go? And if you choose the wrong one, you're never going to see your opponent's base. So Scallywag can safely assume that his opponent is in one of the corners, but it looks like he doesn't know this map and is scouting cross spawn. So he's going to get here and realize that there's nothing here. Icredd has, you know, as you should on this map, whatever direction you send your first overlord in, you send the worker in the opposite direction. So if the overlord has gone south, the worker has gone east. You know, so at the very latest, it's you're going to get a scout by the time your overlord gets into position. Arguably, the presence of flying scouting units early in the game for the Zerg do give them a bit of an advantage in that regard, but nothing too big. Yeah, look at this. That is Overlord speed being researched. I can't help but wonder if Icredd has got a drop in mind or something like that. A handful of lings out on the map again. Now let's hope this time Scallywag moves his marines down into position to keep this worker alive. You know, because it's a bit of a classic thing when you're playing against the Zerg as a Terran, that, oh no, these are on the move command. Do clean up the lings anyway, but arguably lost a marine or two that he didn't need to. Not the end of the world. Surely he sees that, right? I mean, move them. No. You've got to move those marines into position before they shoot. You don't want to A-click them in. Oh no. The good news is you've seen this coming, so you may have to. It is going to finish, actually. It's going to finish the marine. I thought the lings were just going to press on into this location, and he may have had to cancel the orbital. Now, this time, the siege tank is on its way. It's already mostly built. So you'd have to fancy that Gally can actually hold this. He's got marines coming down now, so he shouldn't lose too much to this at all. The lings are going to clean up most of the marines, but there just isn't sufficient number of them to actually continue to do damage. So if we do, let's just have a quick look. It's 18 units killed to 12. Only one worker has died though, and that's the really important thing. So Scallywag, you know, only sort of 10 workers behind, but with mules, that should balance out reasonably. But the bigger problem here is Icredd's third is up and mining. This is gonna be bad. How many are there? There are 9 swarm hosts on this map now. If you're not familiar with swarm hosts, they are brutal. These 9 swarm hosts are in a good position to do serious damage. They fire locusts, and the locusts from 9, I think 9 is the magic number for hell muffins. The locusts that they fire then attack stuff. So these guys don't attack by themselves, but they should be able to snipe this command center. So here come the locusts. The trick to microing the locusts is make sure they're not just A-clicked, because they'll come down and do this, and that's not what you want them to do. You want them to fly over and ignore the stuff. You don't want to kill marines with these. Had he microed this correctly, these locusts could have sniped this command center, and this command center would no longer exist. As it is, Scally does need the pull of these workers, because they're just going to die. They're still mining. Second siege tank's going to come down, but you know, all your workers are dead, dude. And please lift the CC. No, don't lose the CC to lings, to stuff that can't shoot up. don't forget your buildings can fly. Terrans, don't forget they can fly. All he had to do was lift that, and nothing could be done. Which, on that note, is the Terran defense against these things. When the locusts come out, if they try and focus down the command center, you can just lift it, which isn't great. So they get a siege tank here. Again, the better way to play it is you fly them in. You have to continually tell them to keep flying until they're within range of the thing you want them to attack. So I'd have preferred them to come flying in and possibly snipe the factory, or indeed snipe the CC, because they'll have spent they time out, and it's a long way to fly. Oh, these units aren't shooting. So the Terran army gets surrounded by wings, and mostly it isn't shooting back, and that is a bit painful to watch. It's just too much, and I fear it's going to be GG. Scally does have this base, but it isn't building any workers from it, and hasn't turned it into an orbital. This tank is going to siege up, and there's too much stuff, and he needs to focus by the ramp. I don't know, it wasn't the cleanest defense, to be fair. If you haven't seen swarm hosts before, that is really going to catch you off guard, and they are difficult to defend against. What tends to be the way they're played, because they're such slow moving things, and they can't shoot most of the time. They can only launch locusts, and they need to recharge those. So you pretty much need to couple them with a Nidus worm. So standard defenses are snipe the Nidus worms so that they can't get you, and to help with that, Vikings can be incredibly useful, because you need sight to pop a Nidus worm. So if you can kill the overlords, the Zerg doesn't have any sight. Anyway, hard things to play against. Those Nidus swarm host is very much a thing, and it can be awkward to play against. Splash damage is great, so Hellbats are generally accepted to be about the best unit against them. Hellbats with blue flame upgrade fare very, very well against the locusts and kill them pretty quickly. Other than that, you run, because the locusts time out, and it takes a long while before the Hellmuffins can fire them again. Anyway, GG.